Support, no DQ.
Welcome everybody to What's NXT for February 20th, 2019. I am of course your host, the Wizard of No DQ, Stephen Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Good evening, wrestling fans.
And tonight we have a 3-match card. I know everybody knows that my favorite card is 4 matches, but that's on a regular NXT show. In this case, we have a championship match in the main event that's for the North American Championship. We've got Johnny Gargano defending against the Velveteen Dream. Now, he's probably going to correct me. He says it's not the Velveteen Dream. And
it's a losing battle, so I just kind of give it up now.
Me and Caleb Braxton, we're the last two still holding out to calling him the Velveteen Dream. I believe that's pretty much how he went by toward the beginning of his NXT career. It's just now it's kind of like first name, last name, Velveteen, M Dream. I don't know what the M stands for. I just gave him a random information. But we start this show with arguably the better match.
Yeah.
Of the 3. We've got Aleister Black versus Roderick Strong. This match didn't get more than maybe 10 or 11 minutes.
Well, even then, like, you have Roderick Strong, who's veteran, more or less, and just always puts on great matches. And we get Aleister Black, like, also with this.
Basically, his character is on fire right now. Like,
yes.
Win-wise, he did lose the match against Johnny Gargano in the steel cage, but it took both Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa to establish the victory.
Even then, he just lost to Ciampa, and he's still on a roll.
Yeah, and so I think his character, though, is on fire. Like, especially coming off of 2 episodes of main roster product. We've got Raw and SmackDown, where he got 2 wins in a row. So, but we'll get to that later. That actually naturally, organically comes up in our NXT review. So we're going to save all of that talk for later. I want to get into this match because there was a lot of sweet spots in this match. Towards the beginning, Strong dumps Black over the top ropes, drops a wrecking ball drop kick through, and then picks up Black and does a backbreaker over the fucking ring steps. And right at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm sold on this. I want to see more.
Well, I was about to say, like, a little bit of backstory for this match anyway. I guess this is stemming off of Ricochet and Aleister Black being laid out by Undisputed Era at the end of the last program.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're, like, you know, Roderick Strong, Messiah the Backbreaker, he's going to find different ways of just, like, tormenting Aleister Black's spine. And that was just the beginning right there. And it was a great way to start.
Yeah, I've got several notes here. Black does this. I think they called it the Blackout, but I don't know if that's an official name for it. Brainbuster, right, for a near fall. This thing looked like he brought Strong down on the top of his head.
It was a 45-degree angle. It looked like he couldn't decide if it was going to be a DDT or a Brainbuster, so he just kind of went right smack dab in the middle.
Like normally with a Brainbuster, the guy that's taking the move, like tucks his head, you know, chin to chest, and rolls through. It looked like he kind of tucked his head by like, oh, here's the side of my neck, Matt. Enjoy breaking my fucking neck. I feel like it might have been a little botched, you know, like it wasn't supposed to land quite like that, but thank God, I guess Roderick Strong's okay. He finished the match.
Yeah.
So we're on the apron, and Strong has got Black up in a torture rack, right? Throws him over the top turnbuckle. Yeah. Here's innovation for you.
Yeah.
Because he's been working on Black's back throughout the whole match.
I was about to say, he landed more towards the shoulder blades and neck on that one, but at the same time, it was still effective.
Well, you know, he is the Messiah of the backbreaker, so whether it's the bottom of the back or the top of the back, he's always working on the back. So we've got Strong with a running knee into the corner and does this backdrop buster. It's the best thing I can think to call it. Picks him up like he's going for a belly to back high angle drop, but then throws him over into a belly buster.
Yeah.
Like, that was friggin' sweet. Let's see. Up next we have, the end of the match. Black Mask out of nowhere.
Oh, out of nowhere.
Us.
Yeah, I think it was, he tried to go for another back body drop, and Aleister Black just rolled through, and nailed what I'm pretty much calling a Hail Mary of a Black Mass. It's almost like, please hit him, please hit him, please hit him.
Yeah, I think Strong was going for a backdrop or possibly a backbreaker, but Aleister Black kind of floats over to the other side, and as soon as Strong turns around, he catches a foot to his face. And that's the end of the match. 1, 2, 3. Called that shit. What I didn't see coming, I thought this was just going to be a clean win, whatever. Because Strong didn't come out with any of the Undisputed Era.
No.
He came out by himself. They didn't even come out with him onto the stage and then leave. He just came out by himself. O'Reilly comes out. Immediately gets kicked in the face with a black mask. Sent back outside. But of course, if O'Reilly came down, Cole and Fish are probably not far behind. And they do. They get in the ring. They start beating on Aleister Black.
Cole goes high, Fish goes low.
But then Ricochet comes out, saves the day. And by then, it's basically 2-on-2, and they fend off Undisputed Era. Which is completely different from how the show ended last week.
Yeah.
When I'm like, why in the fuck does it matter if it's 2-on-4? It's fucking 4 people. In this case, they managed to subdue 2 real quick. So, good match.
Oh, yeah.
Great opening match.
It was a fantastic opening match.
And the end of the main event match on this show was great. The last 10, maybe 11 minutes of the match was great. The middle of this show, however, not so much. So we move on to, we've got Serena Deeb in the backstage area looking
At
into
Performance Center.
camera and talking about Rachel Ellering, who I guess is new to the NXT brand.
Yep. Paula Elling's daughter.
And I don't know if she's going to be a wrestler or if she's going to be a trainer like Serena Deeb is.
Oh no, she's going to be a wrestler.
So then this is weird because in the background down the hallway we see Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke, and Marina Shafir go into the ladies' locker room and
automatically start shit.
Yeah, a tussle. You can hear voices and yelling and shit. So the camera and the girls run down there, get into the locker room, and I guess it's 3 on everybody. Everybody that's in the locker room is like up in Baszler and Duke and Shafir's face, and they're up in their face. And then Serena Deeb and Ellering like weave their way into the middle of this to break it up. But it's mostly Rachel Ellering.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so is she like a trainer now?
It was pretty much the whole long and short of that part was, okay, these women aren't going to take Shayna Baszler and her bullying tactics anymore.
Yeah, because she said last week something about like get used to it, like
yep,
don't cross us and don't piss us off.
This is the new way, more or less.
So it is what it is. I just put like it was a ruckus. Nobody was really hitting anybody. Nobody was saying anything you could distinguish.
It was a hootenanny.
It's just a ruckus. So up next we get a video package promo for Bianca Belair. And she is talking specifically now about Io Shirai and Kairi Sane, referring to the match that they had where she hadn't won. And then Io Shirai tagged herself in blindly and did the moonsault, won the match. And Belair takes exception to this.
Yeah. But they're finally actually pushing her into a heel role that, you know, we're expecting her to go into anyway. But at the same time, like, now this is going to be setting up between, at least probably a battle between her and Io Shirai at this point. But also, I wouldn't be surprised if she goes against Kairi Sane first.
Well, what I do like here is that she starts to clarify how she's continuing to use the undefeated
It's
phrase.
a state of mind.
She talks about in her mind, or in her spirit, or her whatever, like, her drive is still undefeated, but she is in fact defeated.
Yeah, she lost.
To Baszler.
It was a good loss. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, she put up a great fight. And
yeah.
She showed, what was his name, Rosenberg or whatever it was.
Oh, Sam Roberts?
Yeah, Sam Roberts from the kickoff show. She showed him
why has it got to be Rosenberg for?
I don't know. Rosenberg's the one with the hair, isn't it? The white fro. The Jew fro. That's all I know to call it. It's a white guy fro. It's blonde fro. Like it's awesome. It's awesome.
Okay, we're going to continue now.
So, up next we've got a video recap, and here's where we get Ricochet, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and Aleister Black on both Raw and SmackDown Somehow, in a span of like 2 or 3 minutes, they show basically everything that happened.
Yeah.
All three wins in this case, because you've got the tag team of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. So all 3 wins on both shows, so 6 wins total.
Yep.
Very short video package. I saw it all happen. This video package shows you everything you need to see. Great job.
The crowd reaction to the NXT people were like lukewarm, but at the same time,
it was much more lukewarm on Raw because they were somewhere in Lafayette, Louisiana,
Yeah.
and it was not a hot crowd.
No.
It was a little bit better for SmackDown, but not terribly bad.
Nolans.
But yeah, I think even Aaron Riff said, short of Corpus Christi, this is one of the worst crowds to do something like this in. But I enjoyed it. I'm not sure if it's a call-up or if it's just a showcase. I think it's somewhere in between, where we're likely to see NXT stars just show up on Raw and SmackDown occasionally. Not that they're being drafted or anything. They're just there to have a match.
Like I said, I think it wouldn't surprise me next week if they showcase more of the female athletes from there. Or at least bring up another tag team or two. Possibly even the Street Profits. That'd be cool to see them.
It also wouldn't surprise me if in October, when SmackDown goes to Friday nights on Fox, if WWE has already got a deal lined up with USA for NXT to take 1 hour of the time slot that SmackDown's got right now.
That would be excellent.
In fact, I could see NXT getting 1 hour and either NXT UK or 205 Live getting the other hour.
Possible. I'd see probably 205 at this point.
Which would be really cool. It would be really bad, I think, for AEW.
Oh, yeah.
Because personally, at this point, I'd rather watch NXT than something I don't know yet. I'm more likely to watch NXT Live and DVR AEW.
I was about to say, we at least started off fresh with NXT UK, and there's even already some superstars in there that we already knew about. So
I tell you what, I am looking forward to Tuesday Night Dynamite, though. I'm gonna start watching that, much like we started watching NXT UK from the rip. I already watched All In. I'll watch Double or Nothing. I'll get them in, as the name of our channel insinuates, after the fact. I watch everything after match. Like
Yeah.
It's hours after. That's why DVR is so important in my life, and the network with the on demand. So next is an announcement that in 2 weeks' time we have the return of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. 8 teams, all vying for the cup. And I believe the cup comes with an NXT championship opportunity as well. In the first bracket, we've got Undisputed Era, and that is going to be the original tag team.
Red Dragon.
We've got Bobby Fish, we've got Kyle O'Reilly. We've also got the Forgotten Sons, in this case, Cutler and Blake.
Yep.
Wesley Blake and something Cutler. What's the... It's probably James or something, I don't know.
I want to say Steven.
Steve Cutler.
Steve Cutler.
Possibly. Well, Cutler and Blake, anyway. We've got the Street
I
Profits.
forgot.
That's Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford.
Yes.
Getting those names down. And then we've also got Eichner and Bartel.
Yes.
That is a little bit surprising to me, considering they became a tag team on NXT UK.
Yep.
I feel like we might have a couple of NXT UK tag teams.
Because there's
in the
4 other
second bracket.
spots, yes.
Yeah, we've got another bracket. Those 4 teams are going to be announced next week.
Who do you want to see added into there?
Mustache Mountain, Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, because both of those teams were competing in NXT before NXT UK, so they more than make sense. Is there another team in NXT right now?
I have one that just popped in my head as we started filming. Black and Ricochet.
No, I thought you were going to go where I was going to go.
Nope, Black and Ricochet. Especially
Force a reunion of DIY.
Well, that too, and
Yes.
possibly Keith Lee and Matt Riddle.
Maybe, but I'm thinking Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano win the
cup.
The cup.
Yeah.
They win the opportunity. They vie for the titles. They beat the War Raiders and become tag team champions.
Again.
I don't know. I feel like there's not enough time between now and when they're going to get called up to the main roster, but I don't know.
It
where my mind
would be
goes.
more or less a fairy tale ending to like their run in NXT.
It would absolutely suck for all the other 7 teams in the program
Mm-hmm.
in the Dusty Rhodes Classic. See, I remembered it. It would suck for them because I feel like this is an opportunity to build up a team like the Street Profits. But if I had my choice, I would force Johnny Gargano to wrestle with Tommaso Ciampa, reform DIY just for the tournament, and then win the tag team titles despite them. And I would just like to see that. And then the breakdown happens again when they lose the championship.
Well, it's not even that. They'd probably lose the championships, and then they probably just get the call up right afterwards.
Yeah, whatever.
But from there, you could have like more tag team build up, because right now, yeah, the tag team division here is actually pretty solid, I think.
I just kind of want to get the most that I can. Every last bit that we can get out of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano while they're in NXT before they get called up. There's so many stories they could tell, but there's not enough time. So just squeeze them all in right now.
Yep. That's what's gonna happen.
Force them to be a tag team, and let's do this. So up next, we finally get another match number 2, and like we said, not great.
Not a solid match, but at the same time, I wouldn't expect to have Mia Yim at this point.
Yeah, at this point.
I've lost pretty much any and all hope for actually getting a decent match out of her at this point.
Yeah, so we've got Mia Yim versus Xia Li, and she is the first Chinese female wrestler to be in WWE, I believe. And hats off to her, I guess. She's okay.
Yeah, she's needs a little more seasoning, but she's doing pretty awesome. She's got flurries of kicks. I called her Chun-Li at one point.
Yeah, she looks to me like a kickboxer or possibly an MMA fighter turned wrestler. She just her punches and her throws into these strikes are awesome when she doesn't have to connect.
Yes.
There's a spot in there where she kind of wards off
Mia Yim.
Yeah, thank you. Mia Yim. She kind of drives her towards the corner, throwing these kicks and punches that aren't landing, but Mia Yim is being wary of them, getting out of the way. And, of course, the ref has to back her off because Yim's in the corner. But those looked amazing. But then when she actually had to throw strikes that had to land and had to do several in a row, it felt like I was hitting the pause button.
Yeah.
And then pause on, pause off. Pause on, pause off.
She's being very guarded with them.
She'd hit 1 or 2 or 3 and then stop. Like she had to think about the next one she was going to do and how to do them effectively, and then do them and then stop, and then do one more kick, and then whatever. This was kind of a boring match.
Well, let's talk about Mia Yim's entrance theme real quick. Just HBIC being repeated over and over.
If you're gonna use HBIC, let her say head bitch in charge.
Yes.
Bleep the bitch if you gotta. And it's taped, so you have to. But let her use the B word, or don't use the initialism.
Well, I was about to say, when Shad Gaspard was in OVW, he called himself the HNIC. And anytime he got to the end, they'd always bleep that part out. Like, that was a lot more effective than head baddie in charge.
I have 0 notes for this match except the ending. I at least want to know the finish. They called this the Protect Ya Neck.
Yep.
Which is Lee is seated on the mat, and it's like a eat defeat, but it's done with the knee, and kind of Mia Yim throws her leg over Xia Li's shoulder, and then pulls her down into her knee.
Yeah.
And it was okay. I like it better than her using eat defeat, especially since Yim rhymes with Kim, and that had me fucked up for the first couple of weeks. If you guys haven't watched those episodes, let me just say, there's been a few times where I called her Mia Kim.
I'm going to go ahead and say this. It's my favorite move ever named after a Wu-Tang Clan song.
So all of my notes here are after match, because after the win, Baszler, Duke, and Shafir all come down to the ring, start beating up on Mia Yim.
Well, first Baszler gets in there, and even then she looks guarded. This is not the strongest I've ever seen Baszler.
Well, they beat her down for a moment, and then 3 jobbers, just female talent, up and coming NXT female talent. I've seen 1 or 2 of them on the Mae Young Classic, but have not seen them on NXT TV yet. I guess this is their debut to come down, and 3 on 3 with Mia Yim still kind of in there, and even Xia Li still kind of in. They dominate. Probably because of Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
Because Duke and Shafir ain't worth the shit right now. They are chumpettes. But anyway, basically this was an opportunity for Shayna Baszler to kind of challenge Mia Yim.
More or less.
Because Mia Yim hasn't earned shit. Like, she's had 1 or 2 wins out of like 5 or 6 since she's like been a regular on NXT.
She's not impressive. And I think that's the fact that why Shayna Baszler's got no qualms about challenging her at this point.
She knows she can beat her.
Exactly.
As opposed to Io Shirai. I guess she's afraid of Io.
Io and Bianca Belair, she wants to stay away from those 2 at this point. So, yeah, let's go for an easy target at this point. And
so Duke and Shafir kind of hold up Mia Yim, and Yim's talking shit, and then Baszler, best I can call it, is shuffles in. Because it wasn't a running knee. She, like, every time she goes to take a step in her run, it's like she's tripping over herself.
Yeah.
Just shuffles up to her and then hits her with a knee to the face, knocks her cold, and that's the end of that segment.
The whole segment made Baszler look weak, in my opinion. And
I think Baszler doing her moves the way she did looked weak. Maybe she had a cold or something. Maybe she was weak.
Yeah, it could very well have been, but at the same time, this was not a lateral move at this point for to even make Baszler look to be like the licensed badass that we've known her to be.
And Duke and Shafir, it doesn't matter what they look like in this segment, which most of it you couldn't really see what they were doing anyway. It was focused on Shayna Baszler. But after their 0-2 tag team run here, like, no, 0-3.
0-3.
0-3. God damn, they are worthless right now. Just saying, they're characters, obviously. But.
My only hope at this point, which I doubt is going to happen, is two of those quote unquote jobbers that we saw a little while ago challenge against Duke and Shafir. Duke and Shafir finally get a win. But that's even then, that's going to be like, okay, you just beat 2 people that are really,
something though. Come on, something, anything. I will take that at this point.
Yeah.
So up next, we're setting up for the main event. We've got the camera backstage on Johnny Gargano, who's getting ready for his title defense, and Candice LeRae approaches.
Yep.
You got this? You got this?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got this.
Yeah.
But then, Tommaso Ciampa shows up. Now things are getting interesting.
Yeah. And pretty much Candice LeRae asks the usual question she always asks Ciampa whenever he's here. Why are you here?
Why are you here? And he doesn't really respond to her. He tells Johnny Gargano, hey man, if you need me,
I'm here.
I'm here. And Gargano dismisses him, says, everything I need is right here. And basically he's talking about the title and his wife. And
I think he's just talking about the title.
Yeah, possibly.
Because Candice LeRae didn't go out there with him either. So I think it's like all I need is right here. Just like Candice is like, all right, that's cool, but at the same time you can just tell Gargano's just talking about the belt.
Well, she is a wrestler, not a valet, so
yeah.
We'll excuse the fact that she doesn't accompany him to the ring. But I like the idea that Ciampa is now feeling comfortable enough to offer his help.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm digging that. Like I said, put him in a tag team, force him to do it. So up next is Jeremy Borash. This might be his first showing on NXT. I know he's been there for a while, helping with production, but
yeah, I was surprised. I was like, Jeremy Borash? Did we just flip over to Impact?
Coolest part of the interview, because the interview is with Matt Riddle, and
oddly enough, he showed more personality in this interview than he actually has at all throughout the rest of his time here so far.
I think he might be toning down the Surfer Bro dialect, or
the obnoxiousness, more or less.
Yeah, it's his accent. It's his Surfer Bro accent that gets me. It just makes him sound stupid when obviously he's not that dumb. I mean,
No.
He might not be super bright or nothing. I don't know. but there's no way he's that dumb. He just sounds that dumb,
Yeah.
and it gets on my nerves. I feel like he toned it down here, but he still didn't really say much.
All he pretty much established is he's done with Cassius Ohno, he beat Drew Gulak, and now he wants gold.
Yeah, he doesn't care which championship, and I'm like, you should always care.
But that's why I also threw him and Keith Lee in the Dusty Rhodes Classic.
It's not a bad idea at all, especially if they can win the first round.
Yeah.
But they promoted the rest of this interview. They said you can see this interview in its entirety on YouTube, and I'm
Pass.
like, yeah, this is more than I needed in this interview anyway.
Hard pass.
So
I would have rather had a squash match than actually watch that. Really.
yeah. I mean, anything on YouTube.
It's like, where the fuck is Bugenhagen?
I will watch our show before I watch that. I'm just saying. I'm a fan of watching us anyway.
Yeah, that's
we
true.
all know this. So next we get one last announcement before the main event. Next week we are going to see Shayna Baszler versus Mia Yim. Big whoop. Duke and Shavir don't even need to come out. Shayna Baszler just goes down there and fucking beats Mia Yim. Period. It gives Shayna Baszler a little bit of momentum heading into her title defense. I
sincerely hope that's not. I hope that's not the main event.
Probably going to be the main event. It's Shayna Baszler, man. You know what? I think Shayna Baszler can make us entertained. Just say it. I think it'll be a fine main event. But we'll see next week.
Or we'll get an appearance out of Io Shirai and Bianca Belair towards the end as well.
In the meantime, we are on to the main event of this show,
Mm-hmm.
which was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, man. Okay, if you're going to watch this match and you haven't yet, skip the first half.
Yes.
At the very least. I know a match that's 20 plus minutes has got to have a little bit of slow time. Work your way into the good spots. This wasn't even entertaining, working your way into the high spots. Like, I knew they were coming. I figured the last 5 or 10 minutes of this match were going to be spectacular, which they were.
Yes.
Definitely watched the last half of this match, but the first half, I have one note. Two notes. I'm sorry.
They actually started chanting, "This is awesome" at this point. It's like no.
No, I think that was a little bit later, but
yeah.
So Dream taunts Johnny Gargano, where he's like laying on the mat looking up at him, but then basically lures him into the ropes, like slides outside, and when Johnny goes through the middle rope, just a bitch slap to the face. That I liked.
He actually did nail him with a good right hand earlier, a little bit before that.
There was a lot of good right hands and kicks and whatnot, but my next note here is just 10 minutes of trading basic wrestling moves.
Yes.
Like a spine buster that I think got a 1 count on a near fall.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's just basic, man.
Mm-hmm.
Basic wrestling moves for about 10 or 11 minutes. And then we see Dream go to the top rope, axe handle to the outside. This is where we start the high spots.
Yeah.
And I've got almost a page's worth of notes of high spots from here. But before I go spot by spot, because you know I'm gonna, what did you think about this match, Jerry?
Like I said, it started off, like you said even, it started off weak. It was...
Weak's not the word for it.
We had the entrances, which Velveteen Dream always does really cool entrances, very provocative. But
Provocateur.
And then you had Johnny Gargano singing his own theme, which I thought was pretty great. But yeah, it wasn't really holding my attention. Like, granted, yeah, I'm all about chain wrestling and everything, but at the same time, this wasn't even chain wrestling.
No, this wasn't British chain wrestling in the slightest. This was just trading moves. Neither one of the guys really had the upper hand for any significant amount of time for that first 10 or 11 minutes.
I think they were trying to make it look like these two know each other so well, they've studied each other and everything, but it wasn't even that. It just felt like it was just dragging.
I don't think they really got to that until later on in the match. So after the top rope axe handle to the outside, we've got a spot by Gargano where he gets out of that Abigail DDT that you like to call the blackout.
Yeah.
And
the Dream Street.
Yeah, this is where you're talking about where they're starting to show that they've studied each other. So he gets out of that and then goes for where he rolls Dream and then rolls through and goes for that kick where he's laying on his side on the ground, and Dream dodges that.
Yeah.
So he saw that coming. Dream hits him with a famouser for a near fall, and this is where they show, I think for the second time in the match, Tommaso Ciampa's up in one of the boxes, up in the top of the crowd,
being
watching.
creepy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, very creepy. But I think a lot of that has to do with the angle it was shot, how dark they had him looking, because he's in a box, but the lights are completely out.
It's like sometimes he would just kind of turn his head away from the match and just be kind of looking forward, not at us, but just looking forward.
He's just there watching. He offered his services. So after that, we've got Dream goes for a superplex up in the corner. Gargano slides through, and Dream goes to hit him a couple of times, misses on one. I guess he punches the turnbuckle, and that hurts. So Gargano kicks his leg out from under him, gets him draped back down over the middle rope, and then he grabs him up from the side like he would do a running bulldog, but upside down.
Yeah.
And he hits what I can only call a draping Sister Abigail out of the corner. This was brilliant looking. I think he got a near fall.
Yep, near fall out of that one.
And we're not even close to over. Gargano hits a super kick on the apron and then goes for that slingshot DDT, but Dream counters it with just a sick punch to the face. He goes for the slingshot spear. Dream counters that with a sick kick to the face, and gets him with an Oklahoma roll for a near fall, and then comes out of that with that Abigail DDT for another near fall.
Yeah.
And then he goes for the purple Rainmaker, misses. So Gargano rolls out of the way, and then he hits him with a super kick, and then I lost my spot. Yeah, he hits a super kick for a near fall. Then Dream goes for a Dream Valley driver off the middle turnbuckle, hits it, gets a near fall, and then he goes for the top rope double axe handle again to the outside, catches a super kick on the outside coming off the top corner. And then Gargano hits him with a suplex onto the ramp, rolls him into the ring, hits the slingshot DDT. This is where I thought the match was over. Dream kicks out. Pause for the jaw drop, man.
Yeah,
Dream kicks out.
Everybody was stunned. Even Gargano was naturally stunned.
So Dream gets up. He hits a super kick. Sends Gargano into the ropes. Gargano comes back with a clothesline. Clotheslines Dream inside out. So you know the flip. We all know what that means.
Very, very Rikishi-like.
So Dream's on his knees and Gargano's in the corner, and Dream is basically egging on the super kick. He knows what Gargano's looking for, and he goes for it, but Dream catches him, goes for a Dream Valley driver. Gargano slips out of that, hits the super kick, I guess, finally. And then he comes off the ropes, and then Dream catches Gargano in a tilt-a-whirl. Tilt-a-whirls him, throws him up, Brock Lesnar style, into the fireman's carry.
Yep.
Hits the Dream Valley driver, rolls through. Hits another Dream Valley driver, goes up top, purple Rainmaker. I called kick out. 1, 2, 3. We have a new North American champion, Velveteen Dream. Yeah, that's how it was silent in this room other than the TV for about 20 seconds. Just what the fuck?
Johnny Gargano is a transitional champion?
Yeah, I am not opposed to Velveteen Dream being the North American champion. He totally deserves it. In about a month or two at the takeover before Mania. Not on NXT TV after Johnny Gargano's only been champion for 3.5 weeks. Wow.
His first defense.
His first defense. He is a transitional champion. Wow.
You have to wonder if this is going to take Gargano back even further back into his dark place.
So yeah, we ended the show, and we're starting to get ready to do what's NXT. We've already done most of the setup work, so there's not much to do, and I'm just like, dude, I don't know if I even really want to do this show now, because I don't know what to fucking say. That's the point I'm at right now. I don't know what to say about this, because part of me is like, yay, Velveteen Dream's the new North American champion. The other part of me is like, what the fuck did they just do to Johnny Gargano?
It's like he got buried almost, like right then and there.
He didn't get buried.
The thing is, right now we have absolutely no idea of any of the fallout, because all we're left with at the end of this show is Velveteen Dream celebrating in a ring. We don't see Gargano at all again after the pin. That's it.
And we're probably not going to next week because of taping schedule.
But and then you have Ciampa, like who pretty much, like after he sees the end of the match, just walks away. He doesn't say anything either. It's almost like
Ciampa doesn't need to say anything. He told Johnny Gargano how it was. Yeah, Johnny Gargano refused to listen.
A non-verbal "I told you so."
I told you so.
Yes, and so now we're left with, is Gargano going to challenge Ciampa for the belt, or are they going to team back up and go after tag belts? We don't know anything right now, and that's like that uncertainty is pretty awesome. But at the same time, Gargano dropping the belts.
I know one thing. Right now, Tommaso Ciampa does not have a challenger for the NXT Championship. So we could see Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano again for the NXT Championship again. I'm sure it would be a great match. I don't feel like repeating this part of the story is a great idea at this point when you only have so much time left with these guys.
Yeah.
So I would rather see them being forced into a tag team.
We also have to take into consideration this was actually filmed before the whole Raw and SmackDown for this past week too.
Yeah. And I'm glad I wasn't spoiled. There's always the opportunity to look at the spoilers for these shows, but since we watch them live for us, when we watch them and we do the review, I don't want to do a review 2 or 3 weeks before something we know and end up saying something that spoils anything for you guys.
Yeah.
So I kind of would have liked to have some time to prepare for this, though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, a few days. Just a few days to prepare for this, because I don't know what to say.
Support, no DQ.
So on What's NXT, we like to rate the main event using the General's 5-star rating system. And as lackluster as this feels, it was actually a pretty good last half of the main event, and I just don't know how to feel. Maybe you can help me out, Jerry. How do you rate this main event?
Well, just the fact that Gargano and Velveteen Dream were in the match itself already warrants a 3.5 for me, at least. Okay. At least right there. So the fact that the first half of the match was so bleh, but the second half was so great, it's a very middle of the road match for me, because and the fallout is going to be huge too, but at the same time we're looking at the match itself. And towards the end there's a lot of back and forth, there's a lot of near falls. It's how the match should have really gone the entire time. Because those two can put on a pretty fast-paced match, or at least a really consistent one. But this one, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like it lived up to the hype that they've been building for it. So, but at the same time, like I said, the fact that those two were in it in general, and big ups to Velveteen Dream for getting the belt and finally actually having a single title
absolutely.
Here. But I'm just gonna go with 3.5. I'm gonna go 3.5.
Big ups.
Big ups.
That's that 1/2 of you.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I agree, man, because
I could even do your whole bumping it up a quarter off of that good show,
because it was a great opening match.
Yeah.
But then the middle match was just not even meh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lean towards agreeing with a 3.5 because there was no story at all. There was very little story building up to it. The only momentum coming off of last week was the 2 video packages that they had.
That, and you're still griping about the fact that Velveteen Dream even took this match versus going after Ciampa for the actual NXT belt.
You know, I had let that go. But now that you mention it, 3.25.
Oh, because of that.
Yep, just because of that. No story, and as great as the second half of the match was, the first half was so meh that it completely cancels out anything there. And yeah, for an NXT championship match, or an NXT television championship match, even if it's for the mid-card title, it's a big thing, and usually they treat that well. You know you're not going to get any screwy finishes or shit like that on a NXT takeover. But usually when it's a main event championship match on NXT television, they treat it with a little bit of respect, and in this case they did. There was no shenanigans or outside interference. Tommaso Ciampa was way up in the rafters where he's not going to come down and interfere. So
I think I got better reactions and better vibe off the Ricochet and Adam Cole match. That was for nothing.
Absolutely. This match was okay. Better than middle of the road, but I'm going 3.25. And there was no aftermatch. There was no nothing. It was just Velveteen Dream celebrating, which, yeah, great. Love the fact that he's champ now. Don't love the fact of the circumstances of the title coming off of Johnny Gargano after 3.5 weeks. But, as you said, if they go further down the rabbit hole of him going into this split character, or even fully heel at this point, I guess I'll be okay with that. But we have to look at this tonight.
Yeah.
One match, one main event, 3.25. Because, fuck, he should have gone for the NXT Championship.
Yeah.
Should have been Tommaso Ciampa in that ring, and Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae up in the rafters watching.
Yep.
Whatever reason that would happen, who knows?
Oh, because Gargano would be torn about going down there and helping Ciampa. And Candice be talking him down the entire time.
Feels weird to give it a 3.25 because this match was absolutely worth watching. The second half, the first match of the show was definitely worth watching.
I'd actually almost say it's better.
Aleister Black put on a great match with Roderick Strong.
Well, you're not going to get a bad match out of Roderick Strong.
Or Aleister Black, for that matter.
No.
So that's our ratings, and that's the end of What's NXT. If it feels like a very underwhelming episode of What's NXT, like I said,
because it was.
We finish watching the show, and then we start recording this. I was at a loss for words for about 5 or 10 minutes getting ready to do this. It wasn't our first take.
We were pretty much at loss of words. Is
the first idea that came to mind was just the gag throughout this video that I'm supposed to be editing in here with the jaw drop and just no words.
Yep.
No words, man. There are no words. So, thank you all for joining us for this episode of What's NXT. Stay tuned tomorrow for our NXT party. We are going to have, I believe, the Cleaver, Colin Andrew, thank you. And we are going to have
the Holiday,
Chris Mace.
Hopefully he'll be with us the whole time.
Yeah, we told him to make sure to get a charger long enough so he can wander outside and have a cigarette with me. I'm thinking about keeping him on this side, and we'll just call this the smoking section. And then you and Colin Andrew can be over there. So if you'd like to join us for a spot of NXT on a future episode of the NXT party, we do this with guests. Colin Andrew and Chris Mace happen to be our 2 newest members of NoDQ #NXTeam.
Yeah.
But we would like to have new members join the team and come and be on a show and review an episode of NXT UK with us. So if you'd like to do that and be on the big screen, you can find me on Twitter. Just go to nodq.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. Or if you just want to look me up on Twitter, it's at Stephan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. And you can find this gentleman on Twitter as well. At
NoDQ General, and also on my Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR, exclamation point. Steph and I are both administrators. Go ahead and track us down. We'll get you in there. Lots of different discussions going on. Memes, the usual shenanigans.
And if you don't have Twitter, if you don't have Facebook, and you would still like to be on the show, just leave down in the comments a way we can get a hold of you. Email address. That's all I need. We'll get you on the show. Speaking of down below in the comments, if you like this video, you should click the like button. It's underneath me. If you like all of our videos, you should probably click the subscribe button. That's under Jerry. And if you'd like to get these videos about a half a day early, we have our own channel. It's Aftermatch Wrestling. All one word, Aftermatch. AFTERMATCH Wrestling. And this is where we announce exclusive content. Last week we had an episode of the Rated R Report go up. We kind of did just some Q&A.
Yeah.
After an episode of the NXT party. It was you, me, and Noah. And last week we talked about what can WWE do to save themselves.
Yep.
And there was a couple other topics. Really fun. That is going to be exclusive content to Aftermatch Wrestling. We've got a few more ideas. We're going to do a Rated R review. That is where we're going to go back to some old wrestling. And in the case of probably the first 4 to 8 to 10 episodes, we are gonna go back and do the NXT UK tournaments.
Yep.
And those are like 2 hours for part 1, 2 hours for part 2. It's probably an hour for the actual championship match that follows when the winner is declared. And so yeah, it's probably going to be 6, maybe 8 episodes.
It's going to be a lot of viewing.
If you guys have any ideas of something you'd like to see us do, Rated R this, Rated R that, whatever, or if you've got some ideas of some shows that you'd like us to watch and review for the Rated R review, just let us know down in the comments.
Or if you have any questions for us, we can start answering those. If we get 100 subscribers, we're going to start doing this shit live.
Yeah. The bonus content will probably be recorded, but What's NXT and NXT Party are slated to go live at 100 subscribers. We are up to 34. No, 36.
36, we added 2.
We got 2 subscribers today. So I am happy about that. We are 36% of the way. So if you guys know anybody that likes wrestling, if you like our show, if you like our shows, subscribe to Aftermatch Wrestling and help us get to 100 so we can start doing this live and I can stop editing all of these fucking videos.
Yes.
So, for the General Jerry Slaughter, I am of course the Rated R reviewer, Stephen Osborne, and we will see you guys in NXT time.